Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for watching. Today's video should be a fairly short one, or at least I'm going to try to make it that way. But if you're part of the gun world, specifically the YouTube gun world, which I assume most of you are, you've probably heard people talk about replacing your carry ammo. Some people say once every 6 months, some people say once a year, once every 2 years. There's a bunch of different opinions out there on it. But the reason for that is because over time, that ammo can get covered in oil from when you clean the gun. It can get dirt and lint in the cavity of the hollow points from when you carry the gun. And you risk those bullets not working properly if you ever have to use your gun. So in most people's opinion, it's a wise choice to regularly replace your self-defense ammo. But today, I have some really old hollow points that have been around my house in one gun or another for quite a while now. And I have some brand new ammo that's never been taken out of the box. And I'm going to shoot these bullets a little bit and see how well these really old hollow points work compared to some brand new hollow points fresh out of the box. So this is a brand new hollow point. This is a 124 grain Federal Premium HST. As you can see, it is all new and shiny. And this is the exact same bullet, a 124 grain Federal Premium HST, but this one is over 8 years old. And as you can see by the discoloration on that bullet, it's been through quite a bit. So 8 years old is really not that long when you're talking about like storing ammo in a dry place. There's crates of ammo out there that are decades old that work just fine. But like I said, this particular ammo has been in one gun or another, covered in oil, getting switched around, carried around, and as you can see by how discolored that bullet is, it's definitely not been kept dry or clean. So if anything was going to get in the primer or the casing of this ammo and ruin the powder, we should definitely see it with these, because they've been covered in oil pretty much nonstop for the last 8 years. So what I'm going to do is load up a few of these HSTs and see if the primer engages or if the powder has been ruined. All right, the gun I'm using is the trusty dusty Glock 17, and I got 6 or 7 of these really old HSTs in the magazine, and let's see if they work. My prediction is they'll work just fine. Worked just fine and locked the slide to the rear. There was one shell casing that flew out kind of weak and kind of came straight back towards me, which is abnormal for HSTs, but they work just fine and didn't feel underpowered or anything like that. All right, next up we got the Spear Gold Dot. This is a 124 grain plus P, not in focus, Spear Gold Dot, and as you can see, it is a brand new bullet, never been taken out of the box. And this is the exact same bullet, a Spear Gold Dot, but as you can see by the discoloration on that bullet, this one is much older. Now, I got these the exact same day that I got the HSTs. I got both of those boxes at the same time, so the Spear Gold Dot is also over 8 years old, and just like the HST, has been in and out of guns covered in oil for all those years. So let's load up the Gold Dots and see how they work. Alright, the Gold Dots also worked just fine. Alright guys, let's step it up a little bit. These are 2 of those 8-year-old bullets, one Gold Dot and one HST, that I've had soaking in motor oil for over a week now. I'm going to dump this out over here. Grab my magazine. Just set you guys on the ground for a second. And I'm just going to shoot one of these race fuel barrels over here. I'm sure I'll get splashed with oil. They worked just fine, and I don't know if you guys can see down in there, but that magazine and chamber in there is just covered in oil. Well, I just realized that I had my camera on the wrong color setting for the last hour and a half, so if it looks different now, that's probably why. But we tested the primers, and all these primers ignited just fine. So now what I want to do is test the hollow point itself, and I'm going to do a ballistics gel test and test one old and one new of both the Gold Dot and the HST, and see if the hollow point cavities have been compromised with oil or lint or dirt or whatever, and see how they expand. So the gel block we're going to use for this is my 20% clear ballistics gel block. This is obviously a pretty old gel block, but we'll be able to see in there just fine. And then behind that, I have a couple water jugs to catch these bullets just in case they fail to expand. All right, guys, we're going to start with the HST, and I'm going to do the new one first, and we'll take a look at that and then do the old one. All right, so the new HST went into the gel block right there, and hope you guys can see that wound cavity in there, but the bullet traveled down the gel block and came to a stop right there. Definitely fully expanded. I will take these bullets out when we're done to take a look at them, but the new HST looks like it performed pretty well. And our first HST looks like it stopped at about 12 inches into that ballistics gel block. All right, now we're gonna do the old HST, and like I said, I think that this is also a 124 grain bullet. I'm not positive on that, but I'm pretty sure that it is. All right, our old HST went in just to the left of the first one that I shot. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but the wound cavities are basically identical. So I can see it pretty clearly from where I'm at, but I don't know how well the camera's gonna pick it up. But yeah, those wound cavities are pretty much exactly the same. And our second bullet continued down the gel and came to a stop right there, just underneath the first one that we shot. Now, it looks like the second one stopped about ½ an inch shorter, but if you look closely, there was bounce back in that gel, and the second HST also stopped right at the 12-inch mark and just bounced back a little bit. But that second HST also fully expanded and looks pretty much identical to that first one. All right, guys, now I'm gonna do the gold dot, and I'm actually gonna do the old one first because, like I said, I'm not sure what bullet weight this gold dot even is. The hollow point cavity is deeper on the old one than the 124 grain bullets that I have, so I think that this is a 147 grain gold dot, and it's not really fair to compare 147 to 124 when you're looking for duplicating results. So I'm going to see what this one does, and we should be able to tell just off this bullet alone if it's performing the way that it should. So let's see. Well, because I'm such an accurate pistol shooter, I sent that bullet into the same wound cavity as one of our HSTs, and it actually hit one of my bullets in the gel block there. So I'm going to reshoot that one and try and space it out a little bit more. All right, gold dot, take two. All right, the second gold dot is the one on the very bottom there, and much smaller wound cavity than the HSTs, but like I said, I believe that's a 147 grain bullet, and it actually went all the way down, left our gel block, and stopped in our first water jug. And I'll take this bullet out, obviously, here in a minute, but it's down on the bottom of that water jug right there, and it does look like it expanded. So that kind of confirms that that's probably a 147 grain gold dot, because that is pretty similar to how they perform. They do penetrate more and don't give you quite as much of an energy dump in the ballistics gel. So I'll pull that bullet out here in a minute and we'll take a look at it. All right, so this is probably kind of pointless, but what the heck. I'm gonna go ahead and do the 124 grain plus P gold dot and see how this one does. All right, so the 124 grain gold dot is the one on the very bottom, and it has a much bigger wound cavity in the ballistics gel, continued down, fully expanded, and stopped at about probably the 14-inch mark. So Like I said, kind of pointless to do that 124 grain bullet. You can't really compare the 124 to the 147, but I don't have any new 147 grain gold dots. So it looks like that old bullet performed just fine, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut all these bullets out of the gel block and we'll take a closer look at them. All right guys, so this is the first bullet that I shot, the brand new 124 grain HST. As you can see, expanded perfectly like it always does. This was the bullet that got hit by our first gold dot, so you can see it's deformed a little bit. But the second bullet that I shot is the old 124 grain HST, and that is this one here, and you can see that those bullets are pretty much identical. And this is the 147 grain gold dot that we shot that ended up in the water jug, and this kind of confirms that it is a 147 grain gold dot just by how it looks and how it expanded. But this is the 8-year-old bullet, and it performed perfectly as well. And then this is the gold dot that hit the HST in the gel block. It also expanded nicely, but as you can see, it is kind of deformed on the side there where it hit that HST. And the final bullet that we shot, the 124 grain plus P gold dot, and this one just flattened out like a pancake like it always does. But again, this was a brand new bullet, so it obviously performed pretty well. Let's finish off the rest of these bullets. Oh my gosh. So I taped that spray paint can to that target, and it looks like a green bomb went off over here. Just 30 feet around the target is nothing but green paint, and that steel is covered as well. That's pretty funny. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up, guys. Thank you all for watching. I hope you liked the video. The takeaway that I got is basically if you have ammo that's 8 or 10 years old, it will probably work just fine. Now, the reality is you shouldn't need to do that. Most people can afford to buy a new box of ammo you know, once every 6 months to a year and just replace what you have in your gun. But I would assume most major ammo companies seal those primers off and make sure that that ammo is sealed so that nothing can get in there. I mean, 2 of those bullets I had soaking in straight oil for over a week, and all the others were in and out of different guns for years and years, and they all worked just fine. So just a fun experiment that I had in my head for quite a while, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up for me. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.